Hello, everybody. I am Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 73, The Matrix Resurrections. It does have an S, right? It's Resurrections, not
Yes,
Resurrection.
Resurrections.
Okay. I've seen some people not use an S, but I was like, I'm pretty sure it's S because everyone's resurrected. Yeah, it's an S. Matrix
Not just one person. Not just one person's resurrected,
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I wish one person was resurrected during this movie. Yeah, so thanks for liking and subscribing. Please watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Spotify, Apple Music. Please support the podcast and with your patronage. We truly appreciate it. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. Christmas was just yesterday. Today we are filming this. This is Sunday, December 26th, 2021. Not many of them left. And 2021 with a bang of a great string of movies, or so we thought. So, Lana Wachowski, Matrix Resurrections. What was the release date on this?
I think it was last Wednesday, I think.
Okay.
I have IMDb up. I can scroll up real quick.
December 16th. December 16th, 2021. So, box office, 22.8 million. That doesn't sound very good.
It's not compared to fucking Spider-Man.
It's so hard to tell pandemic money. That doesn't seem very good, like compared to Black Widow. But could be wrong. Who cares? All right. So, you want to drag us through this plot, or where do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll just try and summarize it the best I can.
This is ridiculous. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this takes place, I believe they said 60 years after the events of Revolutions. I believe that's what they said. And the Matrix kind of lives on, and Neo is back to Thomas Anderson, and he is a game designer, an old man. We see him as like a younger Keanu, but in what other people see is he's like this older game developer guy, and he starts to question his reality and starts getting all these memories of him being Neo. And then you got these new characters coming in to wake him up once again from the Matrix, and then they do. And we're just back to the real world. There's kind of this truce between the machines and humans, and the humans are kind of starting to repopulate and rebuild. And there's, again, there's peace. And Neo decides that he's in love still, and he needs to bring Trinity back because Trinity's in the Matrix. So then they kind of move forward and try to break her free from the Matrix. And that's basically the plot of the movie. Basically whittled down, but it was. I thought this movie was pretty rough. I thought this is definitely my least favorite Matrix. I thought none of the action was memorable. I thought the plot of just like not only waking one person up, but waking two people up was just kind of boring. And the fact that they woke Neo up in the first movie in the first 45 minutes, and then you start getting cool lore, like, oh, there's this fucking real world where there's this battle, this war between man and machine, and Morpheus gets kidnapped and they have to go rescue him. I don't know. There's a lot of cool things about the first movie, and this movie doesn't do anything, in my mind, interesting. And I thought this was a letdown.
This movie was way too meta. I was like, fuck, this is weird and dumb.
Yeah.
It's like he made the Matrix games in the Matrix. So he's a game developer in this Matrix. He made the Matrix games. They reference them a lot. And when they reference them, they show the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like they're showing you the movie. It's like, oh, this game. What do you... are you saying, what is this, a cutscene from the game?
Yeah.
Are you saying this is the game? I don't understand. It's so weird. And, and the point where it's like, we're here, and he's like, I know I'm over budget with my new game. Keanu, and the guy's like the new Agent Smith, who's just retarded in this. It's just a CEO of a game company. It's like this. Maybe this. I'll get to this point in a minute. That I heard that people think this movie is woke. I didn't see it too much, but now that I'm saying this, maybe it is because we got the tyrannical game developer. All the sexual harassment stuff that's been happening. game
Yeah, yeah,
companies. So Agent Smith, what's the worst thing he can be? The head of the game company. That's the worst thing. It's a
yeah, yeah.
monster. But anyways, he's like, this isn't about your new game. Uh, this is about the Matrix. And he's like, what about it? He's like, we're gonna do another trilogy. It's like, I don't want to do that. And then he's like, well, we're contractually obligated to. We're gonna lose rights to the franchise if we don't. Okay, we'll make another Matrix. And then this is like, oh my god, this is so meta and so weird. And I do not like that the three films are references video games and referenced so heavily. It just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
It
And
just feels
the meta thing was like I agree. Like the meta thing was very irritating. Like this isn't the only movie that does this. I've seen this in the past where like a movie will basically look at the camera, wink, wink. This is a cash grab sequel, and we're making it. And it's like just because you recognize what you're doing, it doesn't make it better. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it even stupider. So I hate when they do that.
And this was so bad because it just didn't exist for any reason at all. Like the action was completely bland. Anytime Keanu's about to do something interesting, he puts his hands up and the fight scene kind of stops. Instead of being a cool bullet time or bullet stoppage thing, it's just kind of a way to get Keanu out of doing action, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was a very force push heavy. That's all it did was force push things.
And then when he did do something, he felt very stiff and weird. Did not feel like the first one. Or that any of them, for that matter. And the story was garbage. Absolute garbage. Hated it. Whole time I'm sitting through this, I'm like, dude, come on. Like this thing. It made it impossible to like it. It made the first three movies completely useless. Because he dies, and the machines are like the Neil Patrick Harris character. He's like he's
analyst,
the new Matrix like guy. He's the head Matrix guy, like that one guy used to be in that room with the pen or the pencil. I control everything. Anyways, he's like, well, I figured with you doing your one stuff in the Matrix, you produce so much more energy than a normal human body. And I was right. So I rebuilt you and Trinity. And I was like,
what? Yeah.
So you rebuilt them? After, there's supposed to be some kind of truce. You rebuilt them so we could have a super battery. Humans are just triple A's, and now we got these two big ass D's just chilling up here, giving us all the juice.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is really flimsy and thin. And then it makes the other movies useless.
Yeah.
It tears them down and kind of tries to do the sequel / reboot. And I don't think either of them work. I don't like it as a new movie. I don't like it as a sequel. You somehow managed to ruin both ends. I think this is maybe one of the worst come back and do a sequels that I've ever seen. This is 18 years. I mean, like, what's some really bad ones? Dumb and Dumber's not that great.
Yeah.
But it has much better to the franchise adding than this. A lot more fun.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of any go back to the franchise years later movie that's worse than this. Not only not creating a fun and creative new pathway to go, but ruining your first trilogy and making it like useless. Yeah, it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then the only thing interesting about this movie was when they call back to old stuff. That's the only time I was ever interested in anything they said. Is when they were talking about the Matrix, 1, 2, or 3. And usually it was kind of hard to like that because they coded in this video game visage. But sometimes I enjoyed it, like when they're going back and they're showing clips and stuff. Like, just play that movie. Just play the clip, please.
So yeah, I'm wondering if because I thought about the two. Like every time they reference the game, it's footage from the original movies. And I was wondering, like, maybe the original intention was that they were going to have some sort of like actual game footage, like they had to make a cut scene. And then maybe they just didn't have time to do it, or the budget constraints. So they're fuck it, just put the put the movie on there. So I'm wondering if like originally it was just supposed to be made up game footage, but I don't know. Yeah, there's just so much. I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm really fucking bummed that Morpheus didn't have anything to do in this movie. Like, I like
Yeah.
that actor a lot. I was kind of excited to see him play Morpheus, and he is a little bit in the first probably 45 minutes. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then he just has nothing to do for the rest of the movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, and I kind of liked how he played it loosey goosey a little bit. He kind of had fun with the role, but it was kind of wasted.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything, and
And
he's just a
the only
computer
thing,
program. And
yeah, the only thing interesting about him, maybe one of the most interesting parts of the movie, even, is that he's an agent, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
he's
kind
like
of
half
cool.
agent. Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's an agent, and like he starts to turn, and
Hmm.
people are like, "You're an agent." He's like, "I'm not like them," and it's like that was interesting,
Yeah.
but it didn't last long. So didn't
Yeah,
last long.
it completely like it it ignores everything that the originals were. It's all those even all three of them. Say what you will about 2 and 3, but they all had two things going for them. They had an interesting concept that they build upon, whether you like what happens or not, and it's still interesting. And two, it's fucking badass kung fu action scenes. And this movie ignores both of those. There's no high concept, cool story going on, and the fight scenes are bland as fuck. And there's like no stakes involved. Like that's what's so cool about the first movie, where it's like, oh, Morpheus
Yeah,
is kidnapped. We have to go get him. Oh shit! In the real world, the machines are coming. Like there's just so many stakes. You get like wrapped up into the action. Even in the second movie, in the chase scene in the highway, it's like, I thought you told us that we'd never go on the highway. You said it was suicide. Let's hope that I'm wrong. And they have the keymaker, and they're trying to protect. Like you get involved in the action. In this movie,
yeah.
like there's a scene literally where they hop back into the Matrix in a warehouse, and they're like, we need to go talk to Trinity. And then a random fight scene happens, and I'm just like, it was just boring and uninteresting. Like, okay, there's no stakes
Yep.
involved in what's happening. And the Merovingian shows up for some reason and starts yelling things that I couldn't even understand. I'm like, what the
Yeah, and
fuck is going
he's
on?
like Alan from fucking Jumanji.
Jumanji, yeah.
He's like fucking all decrepit, and like they keep trying to throw these characters in, but it's like that guy. That's who you
Yeah.
got. And then Naomi's in it, big part of
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Was that Jada Pinkett Smith in makeup?
Yeah,
It
old
was.
makeup, yeah.
God, it looked so bad that I thought
It
it
looked
was
pretty bad.
just a bad lady. It's like you could
Hmm.
have just hired an old lady because I couldn't tell you actually used her.
Yeah.
I couldn't see underneath all that friggin' latex. Like, wow. And then all of a sudden she's an asshole. I was like, what the fuck? I never believed in the one. I don't fucking particularly believe in you now. So,
Yeah. It's like, okay.
uh, yeah. And then like you were saying, they go over this in the movie. They talk about it and they're going to make a new Matrix game. They're like, what makes the Matrix good? What makes it interesting? What do people like? It's like they're talking about it. They're like,
Yeah.
interesting story. It's unique. Uh, and then they're going through, and you still manage to do none of it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this story is unique. It's unique, but it's incredibly bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's kind of unique. He did some weird things. No one's ever done this. I think there's a reason why no one's done this because it just sucks.
It sucks, yeah.
It was not good. I was just so disappointed the whole movie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
when the oh, sorry, go for it.
yeah, when you figure out the one doesn't matter unless he meets Trinity. They're both the one. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
the two. I was like, what the heck is going? Oh, and another thing, you talk about fight scenes. There's no good fight scenes because there's no good bad guys.
Yep.
They don't have agents this time around. It's just like they do swarm mode where they
Swarm,
just
yeah.
possess every human around you in the Matrix, and it's just boring.
It's like a zombie. They turn it into a zombie movie. That's what
Yeah.
the last final act of this movie when they're racing through the streets. And I'm like, why is this a zombie movie right now? Like, what the fuck? It's
Yeah.
so stupid.
It's like you need the agents, the super awesome mega person in the Matrix. They all look like Terminators and stuff, and they're all awesome. It's like he's here, and he's got
Yeah.
the earpiece. Like I want to see that. This is just dumb. I don't want to see him fighting randos and 100 of them, so we could have a giant CG fest. It's like I'd rather see him fighting 100 incredibly shitty CG'd Agent Smiths. That's
Yeah.
what we got to see.
Yeah, when the movie was over, like I don't really have all the answers, but like when the movie was over, Sarah and I were sitting on the couch and we were both, pretty bummed that it wasn't. We neither one of us liked it, and we were trying to think of like they kind of have a movie, they just didn't go for it. Like we started thinking about a plot, and we thought about like, you know, keep the truce between the machine and man, and we're all doing our separate things, but then you keep the analyst character who, for whatever reason, decides to frame the humans or whatever to get the war back again. And like then you got this new Bugs character. Maybe she finds Morpheus, and they have to kind of undo what the analyst does to keep the peace, because now the machines are pissed because they think the humans are doing something, and they have to kind of fix things, right? That would have been more interesting than what we got. Like I would have, like you can probably get rid of Neo and Trinity, just have a new fresh characters who can actually do kung fu, and because Keanu's fucking old, that's why you can't have a cool kung fu scene, because he's like 60 years old. Get a young, fresh character and do some badass kung fu stuff, and get some stakes
Yeah.
involved, and just like
Don't do the Matrix game thing either.
yeah,
It's unnecessary. I didn't think it added anything. He could have just been anybody,
yep,
at a job. Didn't matter. So why do that? So what this movie did was nothing. It has incredibly forgettable. And then by the end of the movie, it's like Neo and Trinity are all of a sudden back in Matrix garb, show up at the analyst, and like, well, we run it. Pretty much say we are the captain now.
yeah.
And then they fly away. It's like, what the hell kind of ending is this? It's like, you are so hard, you didn't even do anything. You just this is just like a commercial for the next one. They just set up the next one. It's like, trust me, I don't think there's going to be a next one. So you should have finished this movie rather than just hoping for a new trilogy.
I got to say, the end song is a cover of Rage Against the Machine's Wake Up. And I was like, this cover right now sums up this whole movie. Like this movie is just a cover of something we like better, and it sucks.
I just couldn't. You know what? The most interesting stuff is like absolutely most interesting stuff was Keanu or Anderson starting to like think things are weird.
Yeah.
Like trying to touch his mirror. When they flash back to him jumping off the building, like after he got his game award, I was like, take away the game award part, but him like thinking he should jump off this building was interesting. Him not quite knowing who he is interesting. Him being caught in a loop is interesting. When they're like, remember, and he's just doing all these things over and over. It's like, that's like the only interesting part.
Yeah, I'll admit the first 45 minutes, I was pretty engaged. Like at least there was mystery to it, and like I was trying to figure out what was going on, and like even the opening I thought was kind of cool with Bugs and these new characters kind of reliving some of the events of the first movie, but then finding Morpheus.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. The first 45 minutes I thought were at least entertaining, but the moment he wakes up, I would just like from then on I do not give a fuck what's going on.
Yeah, that beginning part is pretty cool, but that just feels so, I don't know, it feels so done, you know what I mean? Like, this is the movie we love, but let's infiltrate into it. Wait a minute, I know this thing that's awesome. This isn't how it goes.
Yeah.
Someone's altering this. Someone is altering this. Their name is Lena Wachowski.
Like some Ready Player One shit.
Yeah, but what we were talking about, Jesse's like, was it super woke? Some people say it is. I was like, I didn't see it.
No, if it was, it went over my head. I didn't see any like politics or anything like that.
I thought it was actually kind of opposite.
Yeah.
I thought it was making fun of those people, like the video game people, when they're like, some of the things they're saying, it's like, they're saying these woke things, but the movie is framing them as kind of these fake idealists, and just doing it because that's what's cool or
checks a box,
accepted.
Basically.
Yeah, it's just as a marketing tool. So I felt all the wokeness was spoken in sarcasm, making fun of the people that kind of think this is a holier than thou crusade. So I didn't think so either. So I don't know where that comes from. Maybe someone's reading more into it or understanding more of it than we are. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get any like, overt woke politic type of feel to it. I thought it was pretty focused.
Yeah. There's even like some kind of sexist things that are said, and like womanizing type of things, and I was like, okay. And Lena Wachowski is a trans woman. I was like, okay, yeah, she's so she's not trying to be that in this movie at all. I think she's making
Yeah.
fun of herself. She's making fun of everything. It's the whole movie is making fun of itself. It's really too much.
It's a weird decision.
It's all a joke. Yeah. Wow. Super disappointed.
And I didn't even understand what. This kind of sucks because this is a movie that I think you gotta rewatch it to get some stuff because they do throw a lot, but it sucks because like the movie sucks because I don't want to revisit. Yeah. But like some of the stuff I didn't understand. Like I didn't understand with Smith's motivation and what the fuck he was all about. He just kind of shows up and says things and then he's gone. Like I don't even know what he was even doing in this movie. So maybe I missed something or what he's trying to accomplish. I don't know if he's trying to keep Anderson in the Matrix or if he doesn't care. I know that he's free. He's a free program now, but I just don't I never understood what the fuck he was trying to do.
Yeah. And it's just terrible. That actor just
yeah.
It's not. You know what the coolest part of that guy was when he's first kind of having the redo of the first one and he gets the text, and they're coming for you, Neo. And the first time that guy walks in and sees everybody fighting, he just looks across the room and it's like a Matrix fucking desks blowing up, and of course there's water on everything. And he just looks at Anderson. He's like, Mr. Anderson, and like grabs a gun. Like you could tell he's like getting possessed again. It's coming back to him. I was like, that was the coolest moment he had, and it didn't last long, but that moment I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Even if we had Hugo Weaving and Morpheus playing these roles, it was nothing to save this thing.
No.
Nothing.
Pretty disappointing. I mean, I don't know. Based on the trailers, I figured it wasn't going to be good, but I held up a little bit of hope. And
based on the trailers, I thought it would be better than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looked more Matrixy than this in the trailers.
Sure.
It looked more 2 or 3. This is not, this is unlike any of them. Weird.
Yeah, just redoing things. It's just like the fucking the dojo fight. The dojo fight in the first movie is so much like I don't even know what they were doing in this movie, but it was so annoying.
Yeah, and redoing things. What's up with we're talking about they're using footage. They're talking about it as a video game, but they're using footage. It's just too much. Even it's like they're draping the set in footage. It's like when he meets Morpheus, it's like we thought something more familiar, so we project. So they're like projecting movie footage onto all the walls and like tapestries. I'm like, this is a bit much. It's one thing to have a flashback or a callback, but let's just play the movie on the set of the new movie.
Yeah.
How about that? Does that work?
And on top of that, it's the same scene. So it's fucking ridiculous. It's the scene where he takes the pill, and in this movie, it's the scene where Morpheus hands him the pill, and it's like, oh my god, be a little more on the nose, please.
Yeah, and it's like changing things just to change things. It's like, now they're mirrors. Now mirrors is how you get into the Matrix.
So the doors,
the Matrix,
or like, phones rather. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what's wrong with phones? Well, because we all have one now. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like, and the cell phone falls to the ground. That's some of the cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. No, sir, I didn't like it, and I will never watch this again.
I will not watch this. It made me want to watch the original. I haven't seen Reloaded or Revolution.
Oh yeah, I almost put in the first one.
Yeah,
halfway through.
Just a palate cleanser.
Yeah, okay. Let me refresh on this game. I could do for a new game plus on the Matrix.
I would much rather play that 5-minute demo on loop than watch this fucking movie again.
Yeah. Oh my god, I could watch the first Matrix over and over and over. And then 100%. The first one is so good, it's like, well, shit, I'm gonna watch 2 and 3. Even though your mind's like, no, you don't want to do that. Your heart's like, well, I love the first one.
Yeah.
God damn it, I'll give him another chance. You put him in, like, They weren't dog shit,
but they're not great.
But they were no Matrix. So it's like, yeah, you watch number one like 6 times and you're, recurring throughout your life. And then by the 6th time, you're like, yeah, I'm ready for 2 and 3 again. Then you watch them and then you forget about 2 and 3 again. Watch number one 6 times throughout your life, maybe when you're 26 and when you're 27, then I'll watch it when I'm 29 and I'm 30. Then at 32, I'm ready for 2 and 3. I forget about it. 33, Matrix 1, 34, Matrix 1. Maybe I'm 37 or 38. I'll be ready for 2 and 3 again. But that's kind of the life cycle of how I watch these movies. Most times on this channel, we're like, it's a bad movie, but go check it out. Decide for yourselves. This one's even hard for me to tell you to do that.
Yeah, like, I don't recommend this movie. Yeah,
that's how much I dislike this movie. I don't think you need to check it out. I don't.
No, I think if you're a fan of the trilogy, there's not many people who are a fan of the trilogy as a whole. But if you are, even if you're a fan of the first one, I wouldn't recommend this movie at all. I'd say skip it. You don't need to watch it. It doesn't add anything to the lore. It doesn't add anything to the characters. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, then they just kind of abruptly end it, and I have a strong feeling there ain't going to be no 2 or 3. So you're just gonna wasting your time on this, standalone movie that was supposed to be a trilogy. It's like watching Salvation or something.
Yeah,
Terminator. It's like, it's not like that though, because Terminator Salvation is actually pretty good. So yeah, score. I was struggling with what I was going to give this. Trying to rack my mind. It's a movie I never want to watch again, so I gotta keep that. What's one of the like lowest ones we've ever scored? Do you remember?
I think Tom and Jerry is the lowest we've ever scored.
Yeah. What was that? Like 3s and 4s?
I think it was 3s. Yeah, 3 and 4, I believe. I don't think it's Tom and Jerry bad, but it's
close. All right. I think it ruins everything the Matrix did story-wise. I think it is way too meta and stupid and weird. I think it can't find its own voice. I think everything about it is so much weaker than all 3 movies. And that being said, I think I got to do a 4.4. Do not watch. 4.4.
Yeah. I'm gonna go just straight down 4.5. I was hovering around a 5, but that to me is like middle of the road. You can but it's just like I don't even recommend it. Yeah, 4.5. The only reason why it gets a 4.5 is at least the first 45 minutes had me engaged, but then the last 2 hours, because I think the movie's 2.5 hours long. The last 2 hours or hour and a half,
it's long.
Just fucking ruined it.
Too long.
Yeah, and it just very disappointing. Yeah, this movie fucking sucked.
I was thinking 5, but then I was like, that seems too high.
Yeah,
and that's bad sign when you're thinking 5 and then your mind's telling you no, that's too high. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really long and it feels really long. Like Spider-Man just breezed by at 2.5 hours, dude. This one, I was like, damn, when is this thing over? I was just like, it just keeps going and adding a new crappier idea than before. Keep trying to pepper in old characters, and not even old characters you love. It's like that guy, the Jumanji guy. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
I remember him kind of from 2.
Bring back the Ghost Twins or something. Yeah,
I remember his wife more, my friend. Yeah, bring back the fucking weird ass albino twins.
Yeah, dude, have a chasing with them. That would have helped a little bit. That would have bumped it to a 5.
Yeah, bring back the fucking the mech machines at the end.
Oh yeah,
a fight scene in those.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's it, man. 4.4, 4.5, very close on the Richter scale. Both did not enjoy it. Both do not recommend it. Sorry, guys. I was hoping we'd get a good Matrix film sequel, but Wasn't in the cards.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
sucks we got to
understand
go
how.
out like this because we're gonna see you next year. So this was kind of our last review on the channel for 2021. It's a bummer that it wasn't
Yeah,
a good one.
didn't knock it out of the park. So yeah, it's disappointing. I was really wanting something good, or at least mediocre. At least live
Yeah.
up to 3 or 2. You know, but even just 2 is a little better than 3 in my opinion. I was like, just live up to 3, and it'll probably be okay. But no,
Yeah.
couldn't even get there.
If you at least had at least one memorable, intense, engaging action scene, it probably would have been mediocre. At least if you give us a fucking that, but they just didn't even give us that. They gave us a shit story and shit action scenes, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I just don't understand how someone could review this and think it's pretty good. I've seen some reviews, some taglines where it's like, Matrix Resurrections, Keanu Reeves, resurrects the franchise. I'm like,
I don't know about that.
what movie were you watching? 18 years later, man, just leave it alone. I don't know why Keanu agreed to do this. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? I haven't seen the new Bill and Ted, but I imagine he's just cashing in on old stuff now. I don't know if the new Bill and Ted's any good. I hear that one's pretty good.
Yeah, I hear it's good too.
All right, so we kind of cut this short. We did kind of a 30 for you instead of an hour.
Not much to talk about in an hour. Yeah.
Ain't gonna talk about this thing for an hour. Anyways, once again, thanks for your support. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Please like and subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. Check it out. Bryan versus Bryan. So until the next piece, we say peace.
Yeah. Peace. Thanks, everybody.
Later.